Hi there, it's Sandra here from the WLA on a lovely afternoon. It's a bit chilly, but the sky is blue and the sun is almost out, and it's just lovely, isn't it? See some daylight again, goodness. Wanted to say firstly a huge thank you for the most amazing conference. First time online, wasn't sure how it would go. It was great, the feedback has been fantastic. We've had just big thank you really from me, from my heart, to all of the lovely speakers, all the delegates who showed, the sponsors that came, everybody. It was a truly fab event, and thanks to the guys at We Are Resourceful for the platform. We had a few techie issues, to be expected I guess, but it was a wonderful couple of days. If you missed it or you'd like to go over it, then we have got all the recordings. Details of how to get hold of those are a bit further down, I think, should be below the video, if you'd like to get them. So this week has been a really busy week. Not only have we been sort of debriefing on the conference, but I've also been doing lots of coaching this week, catching up with my coaching clients, and there's been a bit of a theme. This often happens to me, I notice, actually, with clients I work with, and there's been a theme particularly around overwhelm and feeling of a bit of kind of tearfulness, a bit of don't know if I can cope, it's all getting too much, and some support around that, both for men and women actually, but in particular I find that women struggle a little bit with setting boundaries and getting really stop taking it all so much inside of them. So I got me thinking about the relationship that we have with our line manager, because in my experience a lot of clients struggle with prioritizing and with overwhelm because they haven't had the right sort of conversation with their boss. So I thought I'd share a little framework with you that you may find helpful for building relationships with your boss. And it's, as ever, nothing I do is very complicated, so let me share what my thoughts would be. And the first thing would be around understanding your line manager and your boss. So how would you rate how well you understand what he or she is working on? So number one would be around their goals and their what do you know what theirs are? Because often we're in the dark a bit, aren't we? We often sort of think about our goals as what we need to do, and we forget the kind of context sometimes in which our boss is there to do. And we should be setting our boss up for success. That's a great aspiration to have. So how well do you know their goals and what they're working on? How well do you know their values and what's important to them, and what really matters to them inside? And also, how are you aligned in the way you both communicate, and have you had the conversation about the way in which your boss likes to communicate and not, and how does he or she deliver good news, and how does he or she deliver bad news? So there's a whole piece in there around how well do you actually know your manager. I think the second one for me would be around the way in which, what's number two? It's just gone out of my head. It's how you give feedback. That's it. Sorry, I should have. I haven't got my crypt notes with me. So how do you give feedback? And there's something about giving and receiving feedback both ways. So the way you might like it and the way you hear it could be a conflict. So, and how often are you asking for feedback, and what type of feedback are you asking for? Are you expecting your boss to give you a full debrief when you've delivered something? Do you want a quick heads up, it's all going fine? How does that feedback loop work in reality? Is it developmental feedback? Is it performance feedback, behavioural feedback? And how often are you having that kind of conversation with your line manager? It's a bit windy, sorry. So how often are you having that kind of conversation with he or she about that? And the other piece, not only around feedback giving, but there's a piece for me around setting expectations. So are you setting those expectations in the right way for both sides? So again, you might be putting your hand up and offering to do more, but are you being clear about what the expectation is by way of a result and a way of communication? And the final one would be around improving the relationship. So finding ways, constantly thinking about how can I improve this relationship? Where am I saying no? Because if you're overwhelmed and you've got too much on your plate and you're sinking and you're finding you're getting a bit tearful, then where do you need to say no to? Where do you need to re-clarify the priorities? And it isn't always with your boss actually, because it could be coming from all sorts of areas, couldn't it? But there is is something about redefining the way you work together, finding the ways in which you can improve. So just do yourself a bit of a debrief, a reflection on what's the strength of the relationship I've got, how often are we communicating and working with each other, and what could I do to improve the relationship, what could I do to set him or her up for more success, and also what do I need more to bring me out of my best, and stop expecting your line manager to be a mind reader. It's really important you are able to be transparent and open about what you want. Now, on that note, I've already been going on for 5 minutes, so I better stop. And I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea. Have a fabulous weekend. Let me know your comments, won't you? What has worked for you? I'd love to hear what other things that you've tried with your boss and your line manager that has really helped that relationship move forward. And what do you need in a great line manager? I think it's sometimes worth, even though we're often leading people, it's worth looking up. Right, I'm going to stop now. Really do have a lovely weekend, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care. Bye.